So there has been a huge topic going around in the My Hero Academia community recently on whether or not Deku could have became a great quirkless hero similar to that of Batman. And from what I've seen, a lot of people really believe Deku could not have been a good hero if he never received the power of One For All. So I wanted to put my input on this topic and discuss why I think Deku being a quirkless hero would have been very compelling and been just as good of a hero as he is now. Also, big shout out to Dan Exclaims for making a video on this topic and basically inspiring me to make this video. So I do recommend watching his video on could Deku be a quirkless hero like Batman, since I do reference that video just a little. Links to his channel and video will be in the description below. So to start things off, in early character concepts for My Hero Academia, Deku was actually going to stay quirkless throughout the entire series, and would be relying more on gadgets to fight against villains and overcome obstacles. Of course, the current character and story that we got is completely different from the early drafts, concepts, and prototypes, but I find it super interesting that Horikoshi was really considering having Deku remain quirkless throughout the entire series and having him become a quirkless hero. So this really does show us that Deku could have totally gone throughout the entire series quirkless, taking on villains such as Overhaul and Shigaraki, which I will touch upon how he would definitely not get completely obliterated by them later on in the video. But besides old character concepts, in the My Hero Academia universe, we have plenty of great examples that gives us more proof that Deku could have been the Batman of the My Hero Academia world. Very early on into the series, when we are first introduced to a quirkless Izuku Midoriya, we see that he takes notes in a notebook appropriately titled Hero Analysis for the Future, where he takes detailed notes on both villains and heroes. The notes would range from very detailed descriptions of their quirks, super moves, and even their strengths and weaknesses, while also including their fighting style. And these notebooks should not be taken lightly either, because the man has 12 other notebooks filled with years worth of information from him analyzing heroes, which is pretty cool when you think about it, because he already has this massive amount of knowledge on different types of quirks. And his ability to analyze and get a full understanding of his situation to formulate a strategy is also one of the main reasons why Deku was completely giving Bakugo the sauce without using his quirk during the battle trial arc. And in the beginning of the series, there were plenty of moments where Deku relies more on his brain when it comes to strategizing than his actual quirk. Of course, that was for very obvious reasons, because he didn't have full control over One For All, but it does goes to show that Deku can handle himself quite well without a quirk in plenty of different situations, with him being able to outsmart countless of villains during the USJ attack by utilizing a little bit of his and both Froppy and Monetta's quirks, to being able to make it through the majority of the sports festival off of his wits and strategy alone. It's honestly kind of sad to see Deku being less analytical now, since he has more of a grasp on the power of One For All, because his ability to analyze his current situation and being able to come up with a strategy on the spot is in many ways very similar to Batman. And there is honestly really no other better example of a super powerless hero evening the playing field with strategy and gadgets than Batman. Batman has taken on many powerful foes, ranging from other powerless villains like the Joker, metahumans like the Reverse Flash, and very powerful beings such as Superman and Darkseid. Most of the time, due to Batman being the greatest detective on the planet, he is able to formulate a strategy that utilizes his gadgets and his opponent's weaknesses in order to give him a fighting chance against super-powered foes. A lot of the times, Batman is able to completely beat the crap out of superpowered beings like Superman. Also, if Deku was completely quirkless, he wouldn't need to be a billionaire like Bruce Wayne to be able to afford these crazy gadgets. In My Hero, we see that Deku has formed a relationship with Mei Hatsume, who is known for making new and wild gadgets slash support items. So if Deku was ever in need of a new gadget that is capable of taking on a certain quirk, all he would need to do is bring Mei the concept for a certain gadget he has in mind, and then she would gladly create something awesome for him to use on the field. And for those of you thinking that a superhero story can't be good unless the main hero has a superpower, then you are wrong, because Batman has had the most emotional and action-packed storylines throughout all of the DC universe. I mean, the dude is just a mortal man that was able to make someone like Superman, who is looked at as a god, bleed, which was one of the most badass and impactful things Batman has ever done. Going back to the sports festival, just imagine how much more impactful and emotional Deku's speech to Todoroki would have been, with him showing Todoroki that he had to work way harder to get where he is at, while Todoroki was just never fully using his full potential because of endeavor. Not even that. Imagine how disgusted Overhaul would have been seeing Deku, a person with no quirk, trying to be a hero and protecting Hero Society from his quirk erasing bullets. Now, a lot of people really think that Deku would just get completely destroyed by villains like Overhaul and Shigaraki, since he wouldn't be able to defend himself from their incredible quirks, as well as thinking that a fight between a quirkless hero and villain would be boring. So instead of using Batman as an example for this, we actually have fights that took place in My Hero Academia between quirkless heroes and superpowered villains. Now, I know I haven't talked much about the spin-off series Vigilantes in a while on the channel, but in Vigilantes we are introduced to a total badass quirkless vigilante called Knuckle Duster, which is a character that most likely pays homage to heroes like Batman and the Punisher. Now, in Dan's video, he brought up the fight between Stain and Knuckle Duster, but I think there is a better fight in Vigilantes that shows us just how good a fight between a quirkless hero and a superpowered villain can be, especially when it comes to preparation and action, which is Knuckle Duster versus Number 6. Right at the beginning of this fight, we see Knuckle Duster's thought process on how he set everything up. He put himself into the villain's shoes and thought that if the villain wanted to get a viewpoint of his experiment going down at the Sky Egg, then the top of this building would give him the perfect view of everything, which will then give Knuckle Duster the chance to snipe him from a building that was 250 meters away from the villain Number 6. Now, this does mean that when you don't have any superpowers, you have to be very prepared for everything. In Knuckle Duster's case, when he missed his shot, he had a backup plan and was able to distract Number 6 by playing back a recording 300 times its normal speed and used up Number 6's limited overclock acceleration, and was then able to trap Number 6 inside of a building. Knuckle Duster throughout the whole fight had the upper hand every time due to careful planning and knowing the weaknesses of his former quirk, Overclock, and it was honestly one of the most intense fights in Vigilantes. Another great example of a quirkless hero versus a superpowered villain being so good and emotional was Mirio versus Overhaul. In this fight, Mirio gets his quirk Permeation taken away due to getting shot by the quirk erasing bullet. For a full third of his fight, he was able to still land hits on Overhaul and hold his own. And let me just remind you guys that Overhaul has the power to basically disassemble and reassemble matter on anything he touches. So one little slap and half of Mirio would have been all over the place. So I find it really hard to believe that people think a fight between a quirkless hero and superpowered villain would be so unentertaining and so one-sided when we have some great examples within the universe of My Hero Academia as well as outside of the universe of My Hero Academia. I have no doubt in my mind that if Deku were to be a quirkless hero, he would be a great hero that's able to handle villains like Overhaul and Shigaraki in a similar fashion to how Batman was able to handle superpowered heroes like Superman and villains like Darkseid on his own with strategy and of course prep time. And if Batman, a superhero that has no superpower whatsoever besides maybe the power of being a billionaire, is able to go against one of the most powerful beings like Darkseid in the DC universe and be able to win, then I'm pretty sure Deku would be able to find a way to beat villains like Overhaul and Shigaraki. And we also can't forget that Deku has some great leadership skills, best shown to us during the USJ attack that I mentioned earlier and the cavalry battle during the sports festival. I could definitely see him leading a team similar to the Justice League that is meant for handling really dangerous threats or villains like how Shigaraki is currently in the manga. And hey, if Horikoshi thought at one point that Deku could have went through the entire series quirkless, then who's to say he could not have been a great hero without a quirk? Now that's all I have for today's video. Let me know in the comments section below your thoughts on whether or not you think Deku could have made a great hero if he was quirkless just like Batman. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button below, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. If you want to see more My Hero Academia content, then be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on to join the Showbob's Hero Academia to become My Hero. Doing all of this really does help the channel out a lot, and it's always appreciated. You can also follow me on Twitter at Showbobs5 so we can talk more about My Hero Academia and other anime/manga all day long. Remember to stay plus ultra, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.